Oh, okay. So this section that we're going to be talking about is called the mail merge, and this is mainly going to be for labels, but for I mean it could be for emails in a way for Brandon. What I told him with so for instance for the Christmas cards next year, everyone now knows how to make a marketing list. That they've already done it once. So for Brandon though, maybe he doesn't want to have to mail merge or all these lists together. So he asks you guys to do that, and then you guys are just going to send him the file with all of the labels already printed, created, and made. They look pretty, and then all he has to do here at corporate is print them off. So just to take kind of something off of his plate, and it's not too hard to do. So, for instance, I told you guys that this section, you're probably going to be in sales most of the time, otherwise, settings part of the time. Marketing is really only going to be for this specific reason. So, for the mail merge and the marketing list. So, I go here, I go and click on marketing lists, and these are the ones that we've done obviously for the Christmas card. Now, a method to buy madness, which I told Brandon is super, super important. You guys should know this too. So let's say you send out an email to your salesman, and it's going to happen at different times for you guys because you guys are just in different areas. Obviously, Jess is a little bit more tropical than Annette is. So, food, especially when it comes to like uh, our food plants and stuff, they're probably going to have more of an issue during more months of the year where Jess is at because of all the heat and all the moisture that can occur in that area, whereas Annette's probably only happens a couple months out of the year. So when you're sending a list to your salesman that's going to be targeted, tell them, like, I want you guys to make a marketing list for all of the food plants that we're going to target between the months of, March and June, something along those lines. Whenever they create a marketing list, I'm telling you guys right now, like, write this down, make this a procedure. All of their marketing lists need to have their last name first, and then the year, and then whatever you want to call the marketing list. And I would call it all the exact same thing. And here's why. If I would have let all these guys just leave, I mean, I told them to do it one way, and of course they did it another. But if I would have just let everyone put, 2015 aren't Christmas or Cortinas Christmas 2014, whatever, then what happens is I want to compare this list from last year to this year's list. And if I just typed in, aren't 2014, then the lists are going to be right there next to each other when I go to compare them. Whereas if I were to just type in, like, I could use the asterisk and type in aren't and the asterisk again. But it makes it easier this way. It makes it all look uniform because eventually you'll have aren't 2014 Christmas list, aren't 2015 Christmas list, aren't 2016 Christmas list, and again you can compare those just a lot easier. So make it a procedure that you do last name, the year, and then whatever you call the marketing list. You can go in here if, like, let's say if Cortinas's didn't look how I wanted it to, I can click in here and then take the name of it as soon as it loads for a second. And take the name of it, and I can edit it if I have to. So FYI, and then just click save. So as you can see, so let's say for instance, Chris was like, how many people do I have in that marketing list so far? Because every marketing list should probably be around 50. If not, of course he did. Chris had 127 in his Christmas card list. There's only supposed to be about 40 or 50. But you could just let him know, hey Chris, FYI, you've got 127 people in there. You need to narrow that down to like 40, and then he would go ahead and edit it. So there's his list. As far as running, and as you can see right here, you can export this list, but it's not really going to give you much of anything because all it is the full name, job title, and owner. So where you're going to run that report to pull that list and export it, I've already created it for you actually, and it's going to be under contacts because obviously the marketing list was targeted at the contacts. So you go in here, click on contacts. I'm going to go to save to use, and I'm going to share this one with both of you guys now. So marketing list for export, because this one's going to be the exact same thing pretty much every single time, just with different criteria. So I'm going to share it with, I'll share with Brandon, with Annette, and Jess. Yeah, no problem. No, you're fine. Okay. Okay, still going on. Phew. Okay, so then click yes. Okay, so this is the file that we want to use to make the labels for anything that we're mailing out, whether it's Christmas cards or invitations to, you know, like the SSBC party, any of that good stuff. So I've already saved, you'll see, some of my, it needs to be saved as, I want to say, the workbook. I think you can save it as an Excel workbook, like up here. So then all you're going to do, now we're going to go ahead and open Microsoft Word. Max out of those. We go to mailings, and we're going to go start mail merge, and we're going to make labels for this. And this is where you're going to have to look at the labels. Generally, the one that comes up by default for me is it's US Avery, or Avery US letter, the 58160. And whenever you buy labels, it'll have like those numbers at the top corner for you, so you just have to find them in here, and it kind of shows you like the height, width, all that good stuff. Click OK, and then it kind of outlines, you know, gives you those grid lines. You're going to go to select recipients, and you go to use existing list, because we have the list we saved it to our computer. So I go into documents, salesman, I'm going to use one of our other ones, marketing lists, Christmas, mail merge, I'm going to use Cortinas's, open, and then click OK here. And you'll see that it kind of, you know, it kind of has like this little, it says next record in all of them. You also want to go ahead and go to address block and go to match fields. And this is where, so for my list, I want it, you know, they call it first name and I call it full name. Suffix, the company name is already selected in there. Address 1, and we called it address 1 street address. Address 2 would be street 2 for the building or suite number. City would be address 1 city. State would be address 1 state. Postal code. Obviously, you know, this part's kind of self-explanatory, but put that on there. Good to go. Click OK, and then it shows you kind of what it's going to look like, and you're like, okay, yeah, that looks good to me. Let's go ahead and click OK. At this point, you want to go ahead and click Update Labels so that it puts that code in there for every single one of them. And then at this point, you can go to click Preview Results, and it shows you how all of them look at this point. Now, obviously, some of them are kind of going on to like the next label almost. So I took this and I highlighted all of it, and I went to Page Layout, and that little square, your guys might look a little different, but I do not put space between, you know, that information. It makes it squished together a little bit nicer. And then I can also go to Layout, and I use this one so that they're all centered. So align center, and you see all of them like this. At this point, you can save this file, save as, and then send it to Brandon, and all he has to do is click print, and it prints out the labels for him. Or if you guys have labels and you're doing it for your salesman, I don't know how Brandon's going to do it in the future. Or let's say that, Annette, you're going to a trade show that you want to invite people to, and you can make all the labels on your own. Again, perfect, just like this, really easy. Jess, same to you. Or obviously if you guys want to write like personal notes and stuff on those, so send them out. So that's how you guys create labels. Kind of cool. So any questions on that?